All right, we're back. Well,
Hey!
we tried this once earlier, but you're not going to see that one because you wouldn't have heard us talk at all. So anyway, here we are, November the 9th. Poolside Bets brings you another edition of Cash and Tickets. I'm Franklin. That's Paul. Like and subscribe. You can find us on Twitter at Poolside Bets. You can find us on YouTube at Poolside Bet. No S. So give us a listen. Go out there and watch it. Give us a like. Hit the bell so you'll know when a new episode drops on YouTube. Sometimes it works. I get it. That's a YouTube thing. Not much we can do about that. But big weekend, Paul.
Yep.
Right? Had a lot of fun. We'll
Ain't
talk.
no doubt.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll bring it all up from the casino trip to the horses to the football games to the band. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a big weekend here in Clarksdale with the local football teams. So I'm just going to get it started. We'll talk about this side of it because it's a little somber. Lee Academy Colts hosted the Tri County Academy. I want to say Raiders. They're probably not the Raiders. They're probably anything other than the. I think they played the Raiders the week before that.
Let's just call them the other team.
The other team that came in here.
Yeah.
Lee Academy hosted the playoff game. Tri County defeats Lee Academy 35-0, and depth gets you. Depth at the end of the year, depth it gets you. And you look at the other side of that football field, and Tri County had the entire sidelines lined with players. And Lee Academy goes two ways a lot of the game, and it'll just get you. And they just didn't have the horses. And Tri County's a wonderful football team. Look, they lost one game all year, and that one game was to the number one seed, Adams County Christian School, I believe is what they're called, ACCS. But I think that's Adams County Christian. And that was a 21-20 loss. So they played well in that game. So they came in here. They took care of business against the Colts. But look, Colts got a lot to look forward to next year. They had their leading returners on offense and QB at William Walker. There'll be a senior leader at wide receiver in Tanner Fava, who had a fantastic year. And I believe Montavian Artis returns in the backfield for them, along with Darren Williams. So, look, they got a lot to look forward to. It was a great season. No reason to hang your head. Great job by the Colts. So, I tried to get with Bobby. He has a kid that plays on the team, so they may probably still digesting things. But we'll try to get him on. Maybe we can get the coach, give us a season wrap-up. Let us know,
That'd be fun.
Just talk about the season and what he's looking forward to next year and what he's got returning.
Well,
And what he thinks is coming up from the junior high ranks. The kids that may be able to step up and play.
I got a feeling there's some talent coming
It's
up.
got to be, and you hope so. You don't want to see this type of season. You don't want Tri County to beat you twice, even though you know how they said never let a team beat you twice. You got a whole year to process it all and get back at it, and I'm sure they will. I got a lot of faith in the coaching staff over there. So again, Lee Academy season ends last Friday night with 35-0 loss to Tri County, but great season, and we're gonna miss some of those seniors, the big senior leadership there, and the defensive. With the linebacker there at Sam Stone Street and all the guys I mentioned last week. I mentioned all the seniors.
What about the Fava kid? Is he a senior?
No, I said he returns next year.
He'll be running around next year.
Your entire leading offensive production returns next year. So
Good Lord.
they're looking really good. Their wide receiver, running back, and quarterback all return next year. So they're in good shape there. And like I mentioned before because like you heard the podcast where I was no audio, but they didn't hear that, Paul. They're not going to see that. They're going to put that one out there.
And we'll tell you what you said.
Well, I'm going to try and get in touch with the athletic director over there at Lee Academy and maybe get on the baseball and basketball coaches and maybe get them to come on once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just maybe we can get to know them. A lot of times you never know the coaches over there. Maybe if we can get them on for an interview, we can just find out how they got here, how they got to Clarksdale, and just talk about the season and what's coming up. And of course, with the baseball season coming up next year, I know there's a lot of hope there with a lot of good kids coming in. Ready to go as they get older.
Yeah.
And but across the town, downtown Clarksdale. The Clarksdale Wildcats also had a playoff game
Over
last
at
Friday.
Wildcat Field.
That's right. What's that stadium now? Only 3-4 years old?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
It's not very old over
years,
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna turn it over to Paul to talk about the last Friday night with the Wildcats and their opening round of the playoffs.
Yeah, hosted Choctaw Central Warriors.
The Warriors.
Yeah, there wasn't much there. They're a good team, but they just were outmatched. There's 41-0 final score. Clarksdale High.
I mean, and if you're gonna start a playoffs,
yeah,
that's how you get it started. 41-0 for the Wildcats.
They literally their offense ran right at our strength, and it was nothing crazy. It was just they tried to quarterback draw it right at us,
and we were prepared. We were ready to
go. Those guys and they were ready for that in eighth
Well,
grade.
they've seen that all year practicing against their own QB and Kelly Jones.
They're in the wheelhouse. We amassed 425 yards total offense, 405 on the ground. Coach Maddox talked to him this week. He wanted me to bring up Raymond Hill.
A name we have not mentioned. No. I can't remember bringing his name up.
No, 16 carries, 126 yards. He's been on the stat sheet, but it ain't been a lot.
Yeah.
They're really proud of his performance. Kelly Jones, of course, had 13 carries, 169 yards. Cameron Pittman had a touchdown catch for 20 yards. That was the only completion of the game. But at least they put it in the air, so that's good. Right. Yeah. Defensively, we shut them down, of course. I mean, there's no need to talk about that a lot.
I'm sure our boy Daniel Wilson was a big part of that.
Let's just I'm not
Let's assume he had 15 tackles.
Yeah, I'm not even looking.
20 tackles.
Let's just go. Everybody had 10 tackles.
Yeah, everybody.
That's not. We laugh about it, but that's a credit to the coaching and the kids.
Absolutely,
it's absolutely amazing what they're doing on that
defense.
They're
well prepared, apparently.
This week.
Here we go. What do we got this week?
We got the Caledonia Cavaliers coming to town.
It's funny. I was trying to tell somebody earlier today who the Wildcats had coming in this weekend, and all I could think was, I swear he said a team that starts with a C. I've never heard them. I never even heard of that city, that town.
Just
anything.
Just north of Columbia, Mississippi, over there on that Mississippi.
Over there in the Golden Triangle.
Yeah, they're over there in Stark Vegas area.
We got to beat that team. Come on.
All right,
that just sounds close to Starkville, so we got to root against them.
Yeah, they're pretty close. They're I watched a little film on these guys. I thought it was a triple option, but.
So it's not. You told me it's the wing T.
Yeah, no, I was wrong. Coach Maddox was when I talked to him. He says the wing T, and I forget triple. I mean,
a little different than the triple option.
Yeah, triple. Anyways, but it's really tight and they run it really well.
Okay.
And I mean it's really quick. If our defensive line get in there and blow the center and the 2 guards off the ball, it'll frick them up.
If you blow up the line early, you can get it stopped.
They will cough up the ball.
Yeah.
They'll cough it up trying to run this stuff, but they're really good. They're really sneaky.
Hey, look, when you can do something really well on offense, it's hard to stop when you're efficient at what you're doing.
I'm telling you, if you got a chance for Friday night, go just check that Caledonia. The way they run that wing team is.
Does it look like Navy? Or Army?
It's sneaky. It's sneaky. But they will cough it up. If we get some of our guys on the defensive line, Simeon Ross, some of them guys.
Trying to punch a few out, strip a few.
But yeah, just knock those guys backwards.
Yeah.
Because they run
Get them on their heels.
They run it real close to the line of scrimmage, so it's like right there in your face.
Well, in any offense that operates that style of offense, if you stop them on first down, you're way ahead of the chains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a defense. Yeah. If you get them in 2nd and 9 constantly, you can win all night long. Yeah. But if they're getting 4 or 5 chunk yards on first down, you know that when it gets to 4th and 1, they're probably not kicking. They're probably going to try to get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a methodical, get you 4, get you 5 constantly. It just wears your defense out. Got to win on 1st and 2nd down for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I'd like to see the defensive tackles just blow them off the ball and let the edge rushers. and the linebackers use eye discipline. Don't get out of place here.
Hey,
It's
play
gonna be
your
a lot.
gaps.
Yeah,
Don't jump a gap trying to think you're gonna blow this thing up.
It's gonna be moving parts and all that. It's gonna be real quick, but they will put the ball on the ground. Just get on it.
Well, but just be disciplined and make the tackle early.
We shouldn't have trouble with this. I got faith in us. I think we'll be fine. But it's gonna be real quick. So just.
And here's the thing: I guarantee you, there's no way there's no way their defense has been able to simulate what the Wildcats' offense is. You know what I mean?
Because run right over top of these guys.
they all year their defense is practiced against their own offense, so it's hard to simulate what another team does. Yeah, unless you've got the guys that can do it, and because of the offense they run, so. Look, Wildcats just jump out. If you could jump out early on them, this could be hard for them to catch up.
And for you guys out there that don't understand what wing T is, so it's basically you got a fullback and you got a running back from either one side or the other coming around. So it's a triple option based wing T is what it is.
That's right.
So.
And a lot of that's going to be a fullback lead and then hand to the running back, and then here we go.
If you can knock them off the ball and get them in their own backfield, it screws it all. It
stops the timing.
It screws it all up.
Yeah.
They run a base 3-4. It was what
defense.
I saw. Yeah, I didn't see much different, which I didn't get a lot of film on, but I did the best I could. All I saw was it looks like a 3-4. It's like they're really small, but they're really fast. And if they're
fast, that could be a problem.
Oh, we're gonna run all off top of them. Who are they gonna tackle?
Well, not many people have been able to tackle Kelly Jones.
No,
I can tell you that.
If we can shut that, because the only thing about the wing T. If they can get 3 or 4 yards of carry, they're going to run the clock, and we don't want that. They're going to
beat you to death. Yeah,
we do not.
You got to win first down. Got to win first down.
Get them off the field like we did last week. Go score, and then put some things on paper nobody's seen before. Put it on tape. Make people train.
Throw it up. Let Kelly sling it a little
run
bit.
Run that double, triple reverse with the coach in the back. I don't care. Just make them practice for something they hadn't seen all year. That's all. Right. That's all I'm saying. I don't think we're going to have problems here. Just be disciplined. Blow that backfield up. Put them on their behinds. And you'll be fine. And I bet we get 4 fumbles this game.
You know I got to ask.
Yep, go ahead. Hope I can ask. Answer.
Do you want to tell me the truth of what Coach Maddox told you, or you just want to give me Coach speech? I guarantee you, he dropped a dime on you. You just don't want to. You don't want to say it here, right out here on the Ethernet.
Yeah, they're really good in all 3 phases. That's what he said.
Is that what he said? Yeah, of course, that's what he said. Look, I've seen the text. I'm sure that's not what Coach. Hey, but look, good luck to Coach Maddox and the Wildcats this weekend. You know we're pulling for you as alumni. We are maybe we get out there Friday night, Paul. Maybe I don't have anything else going on.
That's gonna be the only game you enjoy this weekend. What a time at this right.
You had to break the. I don't look. I was over it. I was over it. Okay. I got it all out earlier. I don't know why. I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, 3-4 defense. We ought to be able to run all over that.
Absolutely. I look for Kelly Jones to go for 200 in this game. He went for 160 in the first game, and he probably might get tired and just somebody else run it. You know what I mean? Save him.
I tell you what, that Clarksville High team is young and they're talented.
Look, they're on a mission though. You can see it in the practice. They're ready to go. The coaches are ready to go. You could just sense it all year, and. What was crazy is the only game we saw them not play up to their potential was homecoming night, which was great. That team Gentry was fired up that night though. They came in there ready to ruin homecoming and
we should have beat South Panola, but it is what it is.
Look, I heard there was a bad call in that game, but you never leave it up to officials. You can't do it. You just can't leave it up to the officials. So look, that's your local update. And look, I know we say this every time, but I promise you we are working to get more. We're going to get more involved locally so that we get more people watching and listening. And we're going to break this into 2 different podcasts. We'll try to do 2 a week where we do more local stuff, and then we'll have that 30, 40-minute session, and then we'll come to you with our college session. And of course, hey, college basketball is tipped off.
My God, this thing got crazy.
And look, we'll probably before we start really diving into picks on college basketball, you gotta give it a couple of weeks, see what these guys do. You just never know. I mean, Kentucky's gonna dominate, but early in the season they don't. A lot of times they just kind of feeling it out, and every coach is playing. They're going 10, 11 deep, and as the season progresses, they'll scale that back to where they're only playing 7 to 8 guys a game.
Yeah, everybody plays for March Madness and NCAA
that's right.
basketball.
So
it's not like football. Football's playing every game matters, and NCAA basketball, every game really.
Not all of them matter.
It really don't.
Conference games. When you get the conference games, they matter. So just be careful
just get in the tournament.
If you're a bettor, and just be careful with college basketball. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to take the points. I mean, it just teams are feeling each other out right now. And when you look at these, you'll say, look, I mean, this team is from the whatever conference, the SWAC, the MEAC, the what. Look,
we know a
lot of times those teams are senior laden. And they come up against a team from the ACC or the SEC or the Big 12, the Big 10, the Pac-12, and they play well because they know the system and they've been doing it. And a lot of your big schools, they're just testing their talent, and they're trying to figure out their rotation. And so a 20-point spread turns into a 10-point game. And like, well, they suck. No, they're trying to figure out who's actually going to be able to play for the rest of the season. Like Southern Cal went down last week to Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast beat Southern California. So, just be careful with basketball. It's fun because there's so many games. It's every night. Like, I'm going to get in there. Just be careful early in the season.
Well, this is the Christmas of betting year right now because you got NHL, you have NBA, you have NCAA basketball, you have NFL, you have college football, you have the World Cup coming up.
Yeah, it's coming.
You have horse racing. You have. I mean, if you were one of those people that just love to get money away, you'd be done.
You'd
be done by now.
You can do it right now. Yes, but I mean, I got in a little hockey action last night. Seattle Kraken. Hey, those boys are playing pretty good. They're not bad.
Man, watch that hockey because there's money to be made there because people, especially in our part of the country, don't pay attention to it. And there's things. I mean, it's not. It's not once you learn it. There's money. There's money there. There's money there. Hockey. They changed goalies and all this stuff.
And home field home ice advantage makes a big difference in those games. They play well at home because if you've ever been to a live hockey game, oh my, it's insane. It's probably one of the most fun live events that you can go to.
It's fun,
and that's why you never need to say, well, this team. Obviously, they're gonna win, but if they're on the road, hey, look, I'm telling you that home ice advantage is a big deal. It's a big deal. Be careful. Get you a hockey guy. We may not find you a hockey guy.
No, watch what because we watched. I pay attention to like a lot of people that put out content, and there are a lot of folks from like out west or up north or whatever, and they're hockey people, and they're big on goalie. Because goalies don't start every game,
but they make a huge difference.
I didn't know because one goalie and they will change on midweek on you. So if you just
they got to get the rest through the regular season.
So if you blindly bet because the goalie's going to be there and he's not there, then it changes everything. It changes. It's just like I have a goalie in soccer. It changes everything.
Yep.
So make sure you're watching that if you indulge in the hockey betting.
And that's the only caveat I'll give on some of our picks that we make for the football. And we do this on Wednesday, and then come Saturday, somebody's hurt, somebody's out, and it changes the whole trajectory of that game. Just like I talked about A&M Florida last Wednesday, I believe. I don't think I had it on my list. I just kind of thought maybe A&M, because I saw their quarterback do so well, that freshman. And then Saturday morning, right before the game, I mean, I placed my bet, and then 10 minutes before the game starts, the entire football team's got the flu.
Yeah.
And Connor Wegman didn't play, and they had to go back to Haynes King, and Florida ran right all over him. Of course, we get good Anthony Richardson. When I mean, of course, I mean, I had them in a teaser. It was just that wasn't a big thing, but those are the types of things that change bets. And just, before you go to the window, you can listen to what we say, and you can look at the teams. But before you place that bet, make sure you find out about injuries if you can. Hit Twitter, find out what you can about anybody, especially the quarterback. In college, if the quarterback position is compromised, that can make all the difference.
We've been talking about this since we started. Don't. I like a donut. Would you like a donut?
They're good. I like
do
donuts.
not blindly bet things just because of what a content creator, and I think we are content creators now.
Right, absolutely.
So don't blindly bet it because of what we say, because at the time we put out content, it's not exactly what's going to be the day you bet.
No.
So when we say, hey, if you want to go bet it now, we're talking now, today, tonight, whatever, tomorrow morning.
That's right.
Because it's going to change, and we see it change. We know it's going to change. That's why we like it.
Yep.
So, anyways, moving on.
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll recap some of last weekend. I kind of looked at my sheet, and a lot of the bets I had on there. I mean, TCU played around with their food a little bit, but they won by 10. They covered. Tulane went out there. I mentioned Tulane. They went out there and covered. South Alabama, like I said, I thought they would pull it out in the fourth quarter, and they did. They ran away with it against Georgia Southern, I believe. But they kind of played with their food, but they got it done in the fourth quarter. They covered. Florida State was big. I don't think I mentioned them last week, which I hate I didn't, but did place a bet on them Saturday. But
who?
But we got to bring it Florida State against Miami. Yeah. But the the one that both of us like, the one that I'd sat here and said if they lose,
French toast and apple sauce.
North Carolina. I mean, how many times in that game was North Carolina covering and just needed a stop, one stop, and then just go score again, and they could not do it.
I think they literally said, you know what? We heard somebody had told us Franklin Johnson had made this old deal, and we're just going to literally poke him in the eye.
Man,
right now.
I don't know. And what sucks is that they had it happen to them once. You remember the Appalachian State game?
Yeah.
North Carolina got the onside kick and ran it in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
They didn't kick it. Appalachian State onsided it. North Carolina went up early and grabbed it and ran it in for a touchdown. Yeah. And then what happened? App State went down and won the game because it was too. Yeah. So what happened in this game? Who were they playing?
Virginia. Virginia, yeah. Brennan Armstrong.
Virginia got it within 3. North Carolina, they kicked the onside kick. North Carolina runs up, gets the onside kick, and the kid is streaking down the sideline. And I'm watching it as this is happening. Yeah. And I was like, just go score, and we cover. But he had learned his lesson, so what does he do?
He goes down.
He goes down.
Okay.
I mean, for the team, that's great. But as a batter, that was hard to watch. Yeah. But should we talk about the day that was? I just want to shout out the people that came and hung out with us that day. My wife, for one, well done. Well, I mean, when I told her I wanted to leave at 9 o'clock in the morning, in the truck at 8:50.
Ready to go.
Hand clap, high five. I don't know what, and was there and ready to go. Yeah. Josh and Megan show up, Dustin and Julie. Just had a huge crew there at the money line from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
Yeah, had us a booth ready to go.
Had the booth and all the horse racing. Look, I'm telling you guys, it maybe you don't like horses. You pick one track and watch it all day, and you just throw exactas and tries at it or supers at it all day long. Yeah. How much fun is that? Watching your horses trying to pull for them to get home.
Yeah, the thing about it is, if people that don't bet horses or whatnot, you're not spending a lot of money.
Mm-mm.
You're just
you do a $6 exacta, a $12 trifecta, and if it comes home, you win way more than that. Especially if you get a couple of long shots in there.
Yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed every bit of it.
And then just to see, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, to see Flightline. And I knew we were going to see something great. Either he was going to annihilate the field and make history, do some kind of secretariat deal, or you're going to see history because he gets beat. Life is good, goes out there like I thought he would. He pressed Flightline, and Flightline just said, don't really care. He takes over the lead about halfway through that race and just runs away from it. And you know what he did Sunday, Paul?
He studied.
He's retired. Flightline said,
I'm like, look,
I'm out.
All right, give me all the beer
Yeah,
and all the ladies,
and all
please.
the ladies. Here we go. Yeah. So I mean, and good on the owners there. I mean, if I'm the owner, don't you probably do that because you know the money's made in the stud. If you keep, here's the problem. A lot of it. I'd love look as a horse racing fan. I would love to see Flightline continue to run because you start liking certain horses. Like remember our boy Whitmore ran till he was 7. That's fun. You see an older horse run, and Flightline's only 3.5.
I get it.
But as an owner, this is prime stud time now.
All right, we'll let you talking about it.
Yeah, so the owners is like, hey, look, we just won the Breeders' Cup Classic, and some of you are probably thinking, well, he didn't win the Derby or the Belmont or the Preakness. Those aren't the big races, to be honest. The day that horse race owners look for and trainers look for is Breeders' Cup Day. That's the day you want to be in, and you don't have to be a certain age, like the Triple Crown races are 3-year-old. They're for 3-year-olds. So as you get older, you can't run in those races. But at the Breeders' Cup, it's 3-year-olds and older. I mean, there were a bunch of horses that ran that were 4-year-old, 5 years. I saw 6 and 7-year-old horses that were running the Breeders' Cup. And those are the big races. I mean, like the Triple Crown races, the purses max out at 1 million, 1.5, 2 million. The Breeders' Cup Classic is a $6 million purse. That's the race you want to be in. That's the race you want to win. So to see Flightline do that and go out there and dominate, I get it. He was like he was a 1-2 favorite, and that's cool. I mean, just to see what he did, and it wasn't quite a Secretariat type deal in the Belmont like he did, but look. An absolute wonderful race, and we bet on every single race, throwing $6 exactas, and I think I bet one single horse in Italian and hit him big on the place and the show. I mean, it did really well on that horse.
I'm pretty sure the ladies did a lot of betting too.
Hey, and if you follow us on Twitter, you would have seen the big pile of tickets that didn't. And my fingers were drunk, and I couldn't. I said a bit of lovers, and I meant a bit of losers. But that is what it is.
There was some loving going on.
Oh, there was some loving. I mean, we had just an absolute wonderful time. You live around in the area, go over there, go to the Gold Strike and go hit the money line there. And you can spend your day and have a wonderful time. And it doesn't have to be a big race day. Go over there and watch Gulfstream or Belmont or Aqueduct or Santa Anita or Del Mar or any of those tracks.
That's what the thing that you need to remember too is that gambling doesn't have to be about a lot of money. It doesn't.
No, it does not.
No, I mean people spend more money buying whatever they want to buy for hunting, cornholing, and
they spend way more money than we do back.
Good Lord!
And you don't get that money back.
No, at least you got a shot at getting some change back.
That's right. Hey, wasn't it about 3 weeks ago, Paul? We saw a 10-cent super pay $70,000.
Oh, big timing, baby.
Because it was like a 50-1 over a 30-1 over a 20-1 over a 30. I mean, just insane. Yeah. And the ticket, of course, the ticket cost the guy about $80. That's just because he had like 9 horses in it. But hey, does that matter when you win 70?
No, they don't. You just gladly give it to them. I'll go over my recap. I had Georgia, and they won. Memphis, UCF over, they won. UNC lost. Boise State -7 lost. Hawaii +27.5 lost.
Oh, they didn't cover the 20.
Hell, they didn't even get close, man. FSU, they won, and then I had
big Seminoles, big
Liberty +13.5, and they won.
But But I went out there and Hugh Freeze out there trying to get the Auburn job is what he was trying.
At this point, Hugh Freeze is turning down jobs. He's nah, baby.
Look, I know they're going to do something stupid.
Go back to the bank. Call me when you're ready.
You just know that school is going to do something stupid. But if you were Auburn, why would you even continue to focus on you're going to have to pay Lane Kiffin $10 to $11 million a year to get him to leave Oxford? Yeah. Why not go get Hugh Freeze for $6 a year, for $5 a year? He's getting $4 at Liberty. Go give him $5.5, $6. You know he can win. Well, you've seen him do it, and he's going to do everything Auburn likes. He's going to glad hand the boosters. He's going to go on all the trips. He's going to do all those things. And he's a good football coach.
What clout does the SEC have to keep a coach out?
They can't make you not hire. I mean,
they can't veto a hire.
No, okay. They can't do it.
I didn't know that.
I mean, they can suggest. But in the end, it's the school's decision to do what they want to do. He doesn't have a cloud over him as far as NCAA is concerned. It's just about
I don't hate Hugh Freeze now.
I don't either. He's a good football coach, and I'm not saying I want him back because who knows if he'll revert back to the things that he did that end up cratering Ole Miss for 3 or 4 years.
Some folks ain't used to success like that, though. It fucks them up. I mean, excuse me.
I think he's learned. I think he's learned from it. It
messes them up. Give a broke man money, see what happens. That's all I'm saying.
Look, let's say Auburn did hire Lane
Give
Kiffin.
me money, see what happens.
Let's say that they went out there and did something stupid, and they said, we're going to give Lane Kiffin $120 million for 10 years. What's that, $12 million a year? Probably won't be that steep.
I'm not a math guy.
110 for 10 years, $11 million a year.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be stupid not to take it. Number one, Ole Miss is not going to match that. I wouldn't be completely opposed as to us going back to the well.
Yeah. They won't let us hire him back.
So many people would be so against that, though. It would never happen. But I wouldn't be completely against it.
No, I never agree with why we fired him. I understand he got
the reason for. But he cratered. You saw we went through hell for 4 years.
Yeah,
it was
bad. Plus he doesn't. You don't challenge the NCAA. Now you do.
Yeah.
You tell them to go fuck off.
Yeah, well you can now. It's all changed now.
They're neutered.
Oh, and that whole deal was a witch hunt. I mean, we didn't do half. They didn't do half. And I did graduate. I mean, I did go to Ole Miss. But anyway, they didn't do half. He didn't do half of the shit that he was accused of. You know what I mean?
Right.
So anyway,
let's start our plays. You want to?
I reckon.
No, I was looking at the clock.
Oh, looking at the clock. Where are we at on the? Oh, all right. Well, we can move on. Yeah. All right. So look. This weekend I've been so confident in the last 4 weeks and won more than I lost in 4 weeks. As far as the picks I've given you, not the leans I've given you. I've done pretty well. Right, this week, your boy is spit. I tried to do research. I tried to look. Literally, nothing has jumped up at me like it did the last 3 weeks. So I'm going to let Paul take it over, and I just may have to piggyback off. I am in the dark. I'm just looking at the schedule, trying to find something.
I've been unaware this week, but I've got 3 that I'm already on. And I'm going to call them out, and then if I need to go, I'll go back and talk them out if you want to.
Yeah.
UCLA, Arizona, I like the under 77. It was 77.5 down to 77 now.
77.
I just look. I don't think that score. Even if or just say UCLA can score 40.
They can keep Arizona from scoring 20.
How does that get to? All right, so if you think they can keep them from getting 20, then that means they have to score 50. Which they can, I get, but that's a lot of points, man.
Well, that's true. The only thing that scares me there is that line's 19.5.
Yeah.
So if you think they're going to beat them by 20, you know they're probably going to score 40. They've got to hold Arizona under 20. Of course, if it's 40-20, everybody wins. You win. The spread bettors win.
I like it like 45 to
17.
17 or some shit like that.
I don't hate
know.
that.
Yeah.
And that's what's
And
that,
I'm not even-
62? That's
I'm not
way
even-
under.
Yeah, I'm not even saying UCLA gets to 40 here. I'm just saying. I like the Western Kentucky minus 21.
I didn't think they were that much. I thought they were like 30. Are they that much? Western Kentucky's that much?
Give me a minute here. I gotta get
13 over Rice. Western Kentucky's minus 13.
Oh, I missed. Well, I love them at 13. Shit. Why not put 21?
Look, Rice has had a good year. They're one win away from bowl eligibility.
I ain't worried about it.
They beat. The only thing there is Rice lost to Charlotte. You talk about a bad loss. Lost to Charlotte, but they did beat UAB. They've got some pretty decent wins.
I got that line wrong somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, it's minus 13. It's just because Western Kentucky put away Charlotte. They did beat UAB. They beat Middle Tennessee. Played UTSA close. Yeah, I don't hate it at minus 13. I can deal with that game.
That's where I'm at. And my other game I have is Kansas Jayhawks getting no respect.
Hey, you're jumping on my Jayhawks bandwagon.
You're
Look,
getting no
look, no, I
respect.
closed it when I got in the truck. When I got in truck bandwagon, you were still way back there on the street. You remember, you weren't even on the same road we were on.
Yeah, well,
You were still on a dirt road trying to find where we were.
I do enjoy a little gravel road, dirt road traveling. It takes me a minute to get places. I got to visit
So we
people.
found you. We picked you up on the side of the road and said, come on, come join us.
I'm a homeland now.
Yeah. Texas Tech is faltering. They
Why are they disrespecting the Jayhawks? I understand Jaden Daniels ain't far from playing again either.
the only thing I see here is that Texas Tech is at home, and they play much better at home than they do on the road. That's really about it. They both teams give up 29 points a game. So you're catching 3.5 with the Jayhawks.
Yeah, you're getting point. You tease them up to about 11, shit, or 10.
I don't hate it. Hey, look, if not Jaden, he plays for LSU. If Jalen Daniels is
I
back,
said Jaden. That's my fault.
if Jalen Daniels is back for the Jayhawks, but hey, Bean has not been bad in his team.
There's no reason why Kansas is
the future looks good there if Leopold doesn't leave.
Why are people not just like knocking this dude's door down?
I would be if I was Auburn. Why would you not go after
Have
this
they not
guy?
seen how bad Kansas has been in the last 45,000 years?
They're already bowl eligible, Paul. They're 6-3. They're going. Kansas is going bowling.
There's dinosaur.
Wrap your head around
There's
that.
dinosaur teams that were beating them. This is terrible.
They're already going bowling. Hey, remember that future bet I talked about?
Yeah.
Jayhawks,
Hammered.
cash and tickets, baby. That's literally what our program's called. Is cash and tickets, and Kansas has done that. I think you've got me on board there. Why would I not be with my Jayhawks?
I don't know why I don't know what you're doing.
I guess I just missed that game. Yeah, give me the Jayhawks plus 3.5.
Brought to you by
Cash and tickets. Oh, there it is.
It worked out. We did it well. The other game me and you talked about earlier that I thought was hilarious, by the way.
Yeah?
It was Wyoming. Not Wyoming, fucking. Freaking.
I did look at that game.
Wisconsin, Iowa under 35, over 35.
A college game that's in the 30s of the over-under.
That whole Big Ten's an absolute disaster. Ohio State went out there and barely beat Northwestern.
Hey, I will say, let me. Can I interject here on that game?
Go ahead. I'll just sit over and drink.
I went back and looked at that Ohio State Northwestern game. You could not throw the ball 5 yards down the field without the ball moving 6 feet one way or the other because of the wind.
Oh, yeah.
It was brutal. What's the kid's name?
It's gotta fail.
Stroud. CJ
CJ,
Stroud.
yeah.
Oh, he was up against it all day long, and apparently, I mean, I would have thought that Ohio State could have just run over and through Northwestern, and they were probably a little sleepy, but that wind was brutal. I mean, just awful. I like Iowa at home. That was an underdog there.
I don't hate them either. I really don't. If Jim Leonard will probably, has he already got that job?
For the
Wisconsin, yeah,
Badgers,
the
I mean,
Badgers.
they have won two of their last since he's taken over. They've gone 3-1 since he took over.
Well,
They beat Purdue and Maryland and Northwestern. They lost to Michigan State in double overtime. So since he was named interim, they've gone 3-1.
if he doesn't get that job, he deserves a job. Jim Leonard's a really
He's
good
getting
coach.
He's getting the Wisconsin job.
A really good
That's
coach.
why they fired dude when they fired him, so that Jim Leonard could get the job.
Jim Leonard probably walked in there and said, "Look, this is a bunch of bull." I mean, honestly, what do you guys want me to do? I mean, we're holding people to nothing.
Yeah,
we can't win a game. What are we doing?
It's Barry Alvarez I mean, it's just he's got his guy in Jim Leonard, and I think that's
I think Jim Leonard, he was a hell of a football player.
yeah, absolutely.
My favorite game of the week, though,
Oh boy,
I have two.
you have two. Look, you've already given me three, and you have two favorites, and I can't find one. What is my problem
Okay,
this week? I can't pin down anything.
Let me regret my two favorite games to watch.
Okay, all right.
Not to bet on. I ain't betting on neither one of these bastards. UCF Tulane.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. Tune into that game. I mean, it ought to be a fun game.
Yeah, don't bet that game.
2:30 on ESPN2. I actually like the Green Wave at home.
And then App State at Marshall.
Not touching it.
I ain't touching nothing.
Nope. Marshall could show up and Marshall could not show up. I don't know which Marshall is going to show up.
Yeah, I don't understand why Middle Tennessee State is not a bigger favorite.
We talked about this earlier. Outside of last week's game where they got boat raced by Western Kentucky, Charlotte. Let's see. They got beat by 6, by 14, by 19, by 33. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But Middle's lost they both lost 4 of their last 5. You would think that Middle could go out there and beat Charlotte by 11, but you're talking about 2 bad teams. And what do we talk about with bad teams, Paul? What is our one rule?
You don't bet on bad. Don't ask bad teams to win money for
Don't
you.
ask bad teams to cover. I mean, I'm sticking to. I'm not betting that game, and I probably will at the end when it's all said and done. I'll probably be right there
In the teaser
right
hole.
there in the Blue Raider hole. Yeah, it's probably a teaser type game.
Is 16 enough for State to cover for Georgia
No.
at State? Georgia don't have a little bit of a letdown.
After beating Tennessee, well, they can. I mean, I guess they could, but you wouldn't want to lose that game. I think that's a bad matchup for State because
It's not a good one. Does Air Leach get over on the old
because
Kirby Smart company?
Georgia's going to be able to keep all those little short passes in front of them,
Yeah.
and it's a bad matchup. Is all it is.
Let's find a couple more before I just completely shuttered. We talked about the Coastal game. I don't care.
Look, and y'all know I love Coastal. Them the Fighting Teals. I absolutely love them, but broke my heart to watch it last Thursday night in a win and in a cover as a dog against App State. My boy Grayson McCall. I think it's more. Was it just a high ankle sprain? Yeah, he's probably out.
He'll be back for maybe the last game of the year and then the bowl season.
He's not playing this game, and Southern has been feisty. It's at Coastal, and it's only 5 points, but it's a backup quarterback, and I just don't know. I think they got enough to run. They can really run the ball well. Coastal can. I think that's going to be enough. I'll definitely have Coastal in a teaser somewhere because I think they win that game. So if I tease them, they're +1. If I tease them,
I'm gonna bet them on the line because I think all they're gonna do is look at Frank Gore and say, "You're not gonna beat us."
Yeah, the Coastal just sometimes the defense doesn't show. You know what I mean? But they're at home, so I don't hate that at home.
Yeah.
All right. You
What?
about done over there?
Oh, I thought we was making
All right.
music, making magic, baby.
I'm just going to talk about a game that I'm not going to bet. I'm telling you, I'm not going to bet it.
I'm just working my way up to the one that we all want to talk about.
I'm not going to let myself bet it, and I'm going to give, I'll just probably give Paul my money and say, go place my bets. Don't let me bet this game. The line looks like a trap, and I hope it's a trap. I hope it's a trap line. Okay. There's no way in the world that LSU should be just a 3-point favorite against Arkansas.
Let's look at the money on that one.
So I'm hoping it's a trap because.
Oh my gosh, crazy! Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm hoping it's a trap because Ole Miss needs LSU to lose a game. Now, of course, Ole Miss has got to beat Alabama, and we'll talk about that later. But that game's got to work out for the Rebels. So that would be a heart bet, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go out there and get Arkansas +3 on the. I'm not going to do it because that'd be the only way I bet it because I want to see them win.
Would you not go to it?
No, I'm not. I just told you I'm not betting that game. But if you're a bettor, that line is stupid. So, and what do we say about lines that look dumb? Go the other way, right? Actually, but tell me what the money's doing because I know you're looking at it.
I know I'm staring at it in its face. All right, it's confusing the shit out of me.
So tell me what.
I'm sorry. I'm back. I know you say, but Paul's looking down. Yeah. Paul's looking at shit.
Tell me what the money's doing.
70% of the bets made against the spread on this game are on LSU. 70% of the bets of the money bet on the spread is on Arkansas. So that means that the number of tickets coming in.
Though. It started at 3. It's still at 3.
Well, I don't know when it opened, but it opened at 1.5 LSU.
So it has moved. For the money's come in, it's moved. Okay.
But on this though, it opened.
But why is it moved the other way?
The open is way sooner. So this could be pre-flop, like pre-year when it opened.
No, I think it opened at like 1.5 or 2 on Monday.
It's moved. I don't know. I don't know if they're just the Cajuns are all gonna wake up after their hangover from last week.
But if all the money was coming in on Arkansas, wouldn't the line go the other way?
It's supposed to.
But yet it's gone. It's gone more in LSU's. I'm not in LSU's favor. It's gone against LSU.
And a lot of money coming in on the Arkansas money line also.
Yeah, I don't know what they know. Who does LSU have? Their quarterback's not injured. Jaden Daniels is not injured. He walked right off the field against Alabama, just all giddy. I mean,
this is one of them games, man. It's been in the past. Weird shit happens.
Man, I hope so, but I'm not betting it. I don't care. You can tell me all the numbers. Not doing it. No.
Okay. Not doing it. I'm not gonna do it.
All right, I don't hate Illinois at home against Purdue, but I also cannot bet that one. I'm just going to tell you that I kind of like Illinois. Purdue's been on a slide.
Purdue's coach sucks. Dude. I love that dude because I'm a fan of him. Look, but he has forged them out of games this year.
Purdue is literally sitting there right on the board in the pool house as a no-bet zone.
They should be an 8-win team this year if their coach is worth a damn
they should be.
Game
they should be.
Anyways.
I love Illinois' defense, and they can run the football, and Purdue can't stop running water. I mean, they can't even build a dam to stop any. So I think Illinois can win. I know Illinois lost to Michigan State this past weekend, and that was a bad loss. There's no reason Illinois should have lost that game to Michigan State. But wait, no, Michigan State or Wisconsin? I'm gonna pull it up. Who'd they lose to? They lost to Michigan State, which they should not. Michigan State had suspended 8 players before that game. It was a bad loss by the Illini, but they should beat Purdue. But dude, I want to bet that, but they're literally Purdue's on the board. I can't get on the right side of Purdue, and no matter what I do, I bet with them they lose. I bet against them they cover. It's awful.
I got one more thing before we go to the game. We'll talk about that we.
Well, I got to go through a few games that
I'm
thinking about.
I gotta be excused again. I'm sorry. I've had a bad
Paul's
week.
had a bad. He's a little under the weather. He got to probably go blow his nose. I mean, a lot of things going on. He's barely got a voice, but he's powering through. So yeah, look. The Sooners have kind of turned it around. Of course, it makes a big difference when you get your quarterback back. And Jeff Lebby, the offensive coordinator there, he's got his boy back in Dylan Gabriel. West Virginia is a sinking ship right now. That line's 8. I don't hate Oklahoma. West Virginia can be a tough place to play on the road. I get that. I wish that line was 6, but it's 8. And I understand why it's 8. Look, I don't know that I'll bet anybody straight up this weekend, if I'm just being honest. There's some games I won't mind teasing. And that's definitely going to be one of them. The lines are killing me. Vegas is so good. I mean, there's lines in here that I would bet at certain numbers, and it's all 2 or 3 points one way or the other. But that's how they built those places in Vegas. They built them on cold, hard cash. And because they're good. They got people that are really good. Duke, I'm going right back to the Duke. Well, it's 9.5 against Virginia Tech, but Duke's at home. They had a little trouble with ball. They kept letting Boston College cover. They kept letting Boston College score until they eventually covered that game. But Duke's 9.5. Virginia Tech's not good on offense. That's probably another teaser game. Be careful with the Pittsburgh-Virginia game. I'm just going to tell you, be careful. I know you're going to look at it and say Virginia's awful, but Pittsburgh does not have a quarterback. Caden Slovis hadn't played in I don't know how many games. They don't have a QB in Pittsburgh, but they could probably win that game. It's only 4 points. Maybe one where you do a money line deal and you take Pittsburgh, because I don't like Virginia at all, but just be careful there.
Didn't like them last week either.
North Carolina couldn't. I mean, they won, but they couldn't get it done. I do like the Western Kentucky matchup with Rice, as Paul mentioned. I got some dogs. I like Clemson. I like Louisville on the road catching 7 points against Clemson. Clemson just has shown you that they don't have any quarterback play. And when you don't have quarterback play in NCAA, and Louisville has turned it around. They're playing pretty well. I don't mind taking Louisville and the 7 points there. So give me the Cardinal plus 7. I like Tulane at home. If this was on the road at UCF, I might feel different. And obviously Vegas is telling you they think UCF has got a chance here, because usually at home you get a 3-point cushion just being at home. And this line's only 1.5. I hope Plumlee plays, because I think Tulane can shut him down. If the backup QB plays for Central Florida, they showed you against Memphis, that kid can move the foot. He can throw it. He can move it in the air. And that makes Central Florida a different football team. But, hey, give me Tulane, Green Wave to keep it rolling. Hey, look.
Sports line's got it 30-28, Tulane.
Yeah, I like Tulane at home there, and that's a cover.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Not like a good sweat at 2:30.
Mm-hmm. I don't hate Troy at home against Army. This is a game I see going into the fourth quarter. You're sweating it. Troy's up 6 late in the fourth quarter, and I think Troy pulls away late against Army.
I got that one 21-20 Army.
Shit. Yeah, Troy's been on a roll. I think they've won 5 of their last 5.
Army has not been the same Army team that we used to. I'm used to anyway.
I like Iowa money line at home. I like Iowa getting 1.5. If you bet the Georgia Tech Miami game, you're just a degenerate, just like us. So congratulations.
Welcome to the club.
Hey, and here's one 230. I like North Texas on the road plus 6 against a struggling UAB team. North Texas can put the football in the end zone. Yeah, they can score. They're 5-1 in Conference USA. Give me North Texas Mean Green over the UAB Blazers. Give me the 6 points with North Texas. All right. At 3 o'clock on SEC Network. If you get good Anthony Richardson, Florida will win and cover easily against South Carolina, because Spencer Rattler is trash.
They're hammering North Texas, by the way. For somebody that didn't have no games, they're just going over and talk about stuff.
I'm just telling you just telling you leans. I do like that game though. I do like Iowa and North Texas. Those two dogs.
Sorry.
I don't hate Baylor at home, but Kansas State is really tough, and Baylor's been up and down all year. I think I'm with my boy Paul here with Kansas getting 3. So
get that.
And look, in a weekend like this weekend, you look at dogs, and I've given you 3 dogs right there, and here's the other one, and I'm going right back to the well, and here's a kid who should be in the Heisman talk who's not in the Heisman talk, and I don't know why.
Oh, yeah?
He's 222 of 312 for 2,964 yards, 31 touchdowns against 3 interceptions. Not only is he leading the team from the quarterback position, he's also the leading rusher with 114 carries, 513 yards on the ground, another 4 touchdowns rushing. Drake May for the North Carolina Tar Heels is everything to that team. You thought when, what's the kid's name that left last year that was so good?
No, it was not good.
He was really good. He got drafted. He's in the NFL now. We mentioned this before, and we
don't make him good. I don't know.
We forgot his name anyway. So he was apparently not very good. Anyway, the kid has been fantastic, and they're underdogs at a reeling Wake Forest team. Sam Hartman all of a sudden is throwing it to the other team at a horrible rate. He had 3 picks last weekend against NC State, who does not have a quarterback.
Do you like the over 77 there?
In North Carolina, Wake Forest?
Yes.
Don't hate. That's a lot of points. See,
it is till it's 35 to 45.
Until it's 45 to 40.
Yeah.
Hey, Central Smoo in Houston says hello when they scored they scored 140 points last weekend.
I understand Sam Hartman's had a bad run, but North Carolina can't stop me and you.
Wake just hadn't been good, and they're not stopping North Carolina. Wake can't stop run. I mean,
I get 77 is a big number, but goodness.
Give me North Carolina in the points. I'm taking another. This is a weekend for because when I don't know, it always this is when you get this late in the season. This is when TCU at Texas. I think Texas has a chance. Probably not going to bet that game because I think Texas is favored. I'll probably take TCU in the points there in that game. Texas is a 7-point favorite hosting the number 4 TCU Horned Frogs, who have one of the most balanced offenses in the country. They got a wide receiver you can't stop. Max Dugan is doing everything at quarterback for the Horned Frogs. But if you get good Quinn Ewers and a good Bijan Robinson, Texas can win that game. And this is
Texas is back.
But, this is usually when people say, oh, we're going to have all this chaos in the college football playoff. And then what happens? TCU loses this game, right? This is kind of where all that happens.
The next 2 weeks are probably going to be it's going to, everything's going to separate. And the same old jackasses you always see in the Final Four are going to be there.
And I don't hate Florida State -7 against Syracuse. Syracuse is reeling. They 3 in a row, dropped 3 in a row. And Florida State has actually played pretty well this year. I never thought I would say that, but anyway, you got my leans, and I don't know if I'll make one straight bet. I may just have to do maybe a dog parlay, maybe a big teaser.
It's all 30 minutes about babies,
right? Because
welcome to the show, baby.
I'm all over the place. All right, I'll give you. I'm going to give you 3 picks. I'm going to give you.
I'm kidding.
Look, I'm going to give 3 picks. I'm going to give 3 picks.
I'm kidding.
I know you are, but I got to do it. Somebody out there wants to know, and I'm going to take North Carolina with the points. I'm going to take Louisville with the points. I like Tulane at home, given the 1.5. What do you think?
Green Wave, baby.
Yeah, I love the Green Wave. I think they can take down Central Florida. They're going to have to play. They're going to have to score, and their defense is really good. Tulane's defense is – I know you're thinking, hey, all the points there. And if anything should tell you, about their defense, the over-under in that game is 54.5. That's low for the American Conference. That's a low over-under. I like Tulane there to pull that out, and it's only 1.5. I mean, just lay the 1.5.
Well, let's just talk a little bit. I mean, we should talk about the State Georgia game, then talk about the Ole Miss Alabama.
Let's
game.
bring up the State Georgia game. Look, I know there's some State fans out there. We know we have one State fan that listens, and he told us we could never bet on State again.
You don't have to worry about this week.
Look, it's a bad matchup for State. It's a bad matchup.
56% of the bets made on Georgia, 80% of the money of the bets that are made on State.
Then take Georgia to cover the 16.
Yeah,
it's probably a 30-10 game, and that's a cover. State, that little short passing game is not going to work with the athletes that Georgia has on defense. I just can't see it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work either. I don't.
It's just a bad matchup.
It's not a lot of points either. That's what I was surprised by.
That's why when Ole Miss
if you put Georgia against Ole Miss tomorrow, I expect it to be at least 21 points, at least.
Yeah, right. That's why the 16 it seems low, but I mean Georgia's coming off a big win.
I get it. I get all that. And it's on the road, yeah.
And they're on the road. The late game at Starkville, it's going to be loud. The cowbells are going to be ringing.
It opened at 18.5 down to 16.5, so it's moved down 2.5 points. Maybe they think State just confuses them enough to hang around. I don't know.
It's no different than like when Ole Miss went to LSU. It was a bad matchup because LSU had been stopping the run, and what happened? Ole Miss could not get the running game going against LSU because Zach Evans was out. And Quinshon Judkins he played like 50 snaps that game. You can't play as a running back. You can't play 50 snaps a game. I mean, that's just too much. So let's get to it. The big matchup. Most of our listeners are probably
36-17 is Georgia 36, State 17 is what they predict.
That's a cover. That's 19.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the big matchup, 2:30 CBS. We thought there was going to be game day because Alabama couldn't do their job against LSU. Here we go. Alabama travels to Oxford, Mississippi to take on the Ole Miss Rebels.
Howdy-toddy, let's get them.
The line is 12 in favor of Alabama. Alabama's laying 12 points here. Look. I'm just going to tell you, if you want to bet this game as a Rebel fan, I know what Alabama fans would do. That's easy. They're going to lay the 12 and they'll be done with it. Ole Miss fans, if you want to do some hedge, you do it one or two ways. A lot of times people say, you know what, I'll just take Alabama. I'll lay $50 to get Ole Miss to win. Here's your problem with that, with it being 12 points. You take Alabama minus 12 and Alabama wins by 6. Not only have your Rebels lost, now you lost $50 because they only.
You don't bet on your own team unless you got
no. So here's what I'm telling you: you just go lay $25 on Ole Miss straight up. That money line's got to be what, plus 3 something, plus 250.
It's 335.
Plus 335 right there. That's the only way you do it. And if they don't win, hey, you're out $50 or you're out $25 or whatever it is.
Shit. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is what they got to do. They have to score early because let me give you a stat, Paul. I brought this up last night in some conversation. Alabama, this is the first time in 12 years that they've played an inconsequential game. Meaning, this is the first time they've played a game in the regular season that didn't mean something. Like, they don't have national championship aspirations.
Yeah, they're not in the driver's seat.
It's gone. They're not even playing for the SEC championship anymore.
Yeah.
They
need LSU to shit the bed.
Is Bryce Young gonna continue to run and take the hit, or is he gonna slide early? Is Will Anderson gonna play hard on every snap, knowing that in a few short months he's gonna be making all the money in the NFL?
Yeah. All right. So projection wise, I'm just gonna run this through you. You tell me what you think. And I know I have the numbers, and I'm not asking
Mm-hmm.
myself, but I get what position I'm putting you in. Do you think that Bryce Young's throw for 348 yards against the Ole Miss defense?
I think he'll throw for 290.
Okay. Do you think that Quinshon Judkins runs for 76 yards?
Quinshon Judkins has to go for 160.
Do you think Zach Evans gets 55 yards?
Yes.
Do you think Jackson Dart goes for 200 yards?
No.
Do you think Jackson Dart goes for 45 yards rushing?
Yes.
Yeah, it keeps the clock running. I get it.
Here's what they got to do. This is what they're going to do. This is what they have to do. Zach Evans has to be healthy. He's coming off a bye, and hopefully he's a little. And he played in the A&M game, and he was efficient in his 8 carries. If Zach Evans can give you 10 carries for, let's say 60 yards, Zach Evans gets you 10 for 60. That makes Quinshon Judkins healthy and fresh. That means Judkins can go 20 carries for 150 yards. And then Jackson Dart has to run in this game. He has to for them to be effective. Jackson Dart, if Quinshon can go for 150, Zach Evans gives you 60 to 70, and Jackson Dart can go, say he runs 10 times for 60 yards. Yeah. That's your formula for Ole Miss winning this game.
Yeah, they got Quinshon running for 18 carries for 76 yards.
That's just giving way too much. That's too much credit to the Bama defense. Who has stopped Ole Miss running the football this year?
The only game that Alabama has literally legitimately not had the most penalties in, that was they won, but they usually get hammered in the penalty because they're not very good.
They're not been disciplined this year.
If you see early on that the referees in this game are going to just hammer Ole Miss
for holding all night long, holding,
go live, bet it the other way or whatever you got to do because the thing's already in the bag. I'm saying it's before they even the beginning of the year started. Watch these referees. This shit is real. I'm telling you.
All right, let me give you just a little bit of Quinshon Judkins in his last 5 games. Kentucky 15 for 106. Vanderbilt 11 for 46, but they let Jackson Dart throw it all over the field. That was the game that Mingo had like 200 and a billion yards receiving.
That was good for them though.
Auburn 25 for 139, and they're a good run defense. LSU a good run defense. He went 25 for 111 in the big loss.
Yeah.
A&M, who has 5 stars all over their defense, 34 carries, 205 yards. I know, I get it. It's Alabama, and we know the mystique. We know all that. If Zach Evans is healthy and can spell Quinshon, you're not holding him to under 100 yards.
All right, I'm with you.
But on the opposite side of that, he has to have it. He has to. I think he has to run for $150 plus for this game to even be, still in the balance in the fourth quarter. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, what kind of what I like doing on this though is just looking. So, just to be fair, I'll just go back. If we got time, I'll go back to the state game.
Yeah.
And we'll go through those stats and see what it looks like. So, because that tells you pretty much how the game's going to go and who's going to win, who's not going to win.
Yeah, so we're going to move it back over to the state game now. I mean, I can't give you much more on Alabama, Ole Miss.
No,
look,
I mean, you know what I mean. I don't. If you don't think that if they saying Judkins going to run for 76 yards,
we lose big time.
Yeah, we lose big time. So that's where you are. So how do you feel about that? Do you think we can run for more yards than that? Do you think him and Zach Evans are going to go out there and get it done? If not, then you
take Alabama big.
You need to second guess yourself.
That's right. Look, this game's going to go one of two ways. Ole Miss is going to win, or Alabama's probably going to cover.
Because in the back of your mind, they just like everybody though. Saban and Saban's defense is what they are. Can they stop us? If you think they can, if you're an Ole Miss fan and you like to bet Ole Miss,
Yeah, it's all right. We'll keep talking. I know I've lost my connection.
we know
It's all good.
Franklin's a cat. We've lost Franklin.
We get it. We get it. I'm a cat. The
Look at
phone's all
Frankie,
messed up.
Frankie, Franklin the kitty cat.
We're gonna try to come back. I don't know what's going on.
He's such a cutie. I like to scratch his ear.
Waiting for connection. I'm out. You just keep talking. I don't have connection. It's totally fine.
What time?
Paul's still there though.
What time are we?
Yeah, we're done. We got to wrap it up here. Let's give it the wrap. So, what were you going to say about the state game?
I was going to pull up the stats. No big deal. We're good. Projected stats. We're good.
So yeah, it's the same thing. If you think Will Rogers is going to throw for 400 yards, they'll have a chance. So I mean, but he's got to. I mean, right? It's got to be 300 to 400 yards for State to keep that game close, right?
Isn't that the 6:30 game?
Yeah, it's down there somewhere. Yeah, 6 o'clock ESPN.
Boy, there it is. I finally freaking found it.
Well, isn't that sad? I just got kicked out. It's like my camera said, "No, you can't. It's time for you to go."
Will Rogers 281, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, if he throws for 281, they don't do well at all.
No. Okay. All right.
All right. So look, that's been cashing tickets for this week, and you didn't get a lot from me. Paul gave you some. I gave you some leans, maybe some ways to go. Looking for a big weekend. Look, if you're a fan of the teams around here, go Wildcats, number 1, Clarksville Wildcats. And we'll see what the Bulldogs and the Rebels have to offer this weekend. They're both at home, both one in Oxford, one in Starkville. And they get the 2 biggest teams in the country, Alabama and Georgia. So we'll see what happens. So we'll catch you next week, and we'll see you next time on Cash and Tickets. For Franklin, you can't see me, but Paul's waving. We'll see you next week.